Hey y'all, it's Leslie here from Introvert Inspired, and today I'm going to kit down one of my most recent projects and kit up another one. Stick around, check it out. Okay, so what I am working on today is kitting down or letting go of what I don't need from the last kit that I did, which was Cauldron of Myrrh by Ivy Dollamore and Diamond Art Club. I am getting rid of the drills that I will not use again, or that I do not expect to use again for anything else, the extra drills. And I'm gathering that I'm unusual in the community because I tend not to keep every single drill that I don't use. I tend to only keep ones that I am kind of drawn to the color of, because I feel like if I do a leftover project, it's going to be a project with colors that I love in it and not so much colors, dictated colors that I may not love. So I go ahead and, being the minimalist that I am, I go ahead and I tend to let go of a lot of the extra drills that I end up with at the end of a kit. So this is my process. If you want to see anything about the Cauldron of Myrrh, you can look up some of my other videos. I hope to have it dry mounted professionally and hung on my wall at some point with the others that I've done. And until then, I am kitting down. Basically just means getting these drills that I'm not going to use, getting rid of them, and getting the kit ready for the next project, whatever is going to go in there. So I do have another one that I'm going to kit up today as well. That one is my first kit from Oraloa that I'll work on ever. Ooh, I always like to look at them first before I say goodbye and let them go. Oh, pretty. Not worth having to keep organized in my life, though. So, to catch you up, if you are not aware and you missed what happened before with my other kit, the Oraloa kit is called A Witch in Town, and I'll show it to you again in a minute here, but I talked about it in another video at a certain point. I started doing the kitting up process, which is the opposite of this. It's where you open all the drills that you get for that kit and that you're going to need for that kit and put them in some sort of container system, however you're going to keep yourself organized. I usually choose these Elizabeth Ward style containers. And if you have questions about that, let me know in the comments. I can talk more about that if you need it. Oh, I love a deep dark purple, as you can see. I love a deep dark purple. So I started kitting up that kit, A Witch in Town, before I got this one ready, because I thought I was going to do A Witch in Town for the Drills and Chills event. And I got about 6 or 8 colors into that kit, and the static, which sometimes happens with some of these resin drills, the static in that kit was overwhelmingly frustrating for me to deal with, and because I haven't dealt with very much of it before in the past in kits that I've chosen to do, I ended up abandoning that and just letting it go and putting it away for a little while and deciding to do this kit instead, because my Diamond Art Club kits have never had the static problem that I hear people talk about. The people who have been doing this for a very long time have a lot of stories of things that I have not ever had to deal with. So I was able to just say, nope, not for me. I'm not messing with it. And then I was able to put them away and decide to do this one instead, and decide that I will figure out how to deal with that one later. Well, then in some of the videos that I was watching and some of the people that I talked to, I learned that the ways that people solve the static problem in different ways, but one of the ways that works for some people is they put their drills in the freezer. So I went ahead and put those drills in the freezer, and I pulled them out, I don't know, like a week or 2 later, and I haven't gone back to them yet, but today is the day that I'm going to pull them out and hope that they are not as staticky as they were. And if they are, then I'll try some other things too, probably like some alcohol tricks. And I do not keep fabric softener sheets in my house. I don't like fabric softener, and so I do not use it. So I don't have those on hand, and I really don't want to spend money on those to use for this purpose. So I am on the hunt for other ways to fix the static problem. So if you have those suggestions for me, please leave them below so I can try them out and see what works best. My hope is that the freezer trick worked, but I feel like I haven't heard that from enough people to have a lot of hope that it will have worked, because I feel like if it were that easy, then people would just, like, more people would be suggesting that as a solution to the problem. So we will see in just a little bit. I'm going to probably, I'm going to keep doing this, and I'll come back in a bit. Once I'm finished with this, I will show you how I store these in Ziploc bags usually, because I don't want to take a bunch of space to store a bunch of drills that I may or may not use in the future. If you are new to diamond painting, I can let you know my kind of course that I took, or the path that I ended up taking. You really can only ever see that path in retrospect, right? Like, it's usually not known to you how it's going to go until you do it, and then you can see the smart choices you made and the ones that were not so smart. So I can just let you know my experiences. I started because I heard about diamond painting and saw examples of it in my office. And my very close work friend said, hey, let me introduce you to the person who made all of these beautiful pieces of art. At that time, they were just art to me. And I said, sure, okay. So she introduced me to her. We looked at all the different paintings, diamond paintings that had been done for each particular teammate. And they were all just gorgeous, and they were all Diamond Art Club pieces and beautiful, and I was amazed. So then I was like, what is this kind of artwork? And she told me it's called diamond painting. And so then I went and Googled it and found it on Amazon and Temu and wherever else. I found it on Amazon first, I guess. And I just ordered one of the cheaper, but what I thought was a beautiful kit for myself, 9-inch by 13-inch size canvas. So, and it was just like flowers in some vases. I ordered it, worked on it for only an hour or two in one evening, and it was so much fun, so enjoyable. It quieted my mind so much that I thought, I am into it. I really want to find out how to do the rest of it, how to do more of this. And so I went back the next day to that person at work who had done so many of these for our different coworkers. And she gave me a little more of the lowdown, quality kits, and a few other, things about tools that I may want and that kind of stuff. And then I went home that night and I ordered Sun Rays by Diamond Art Club, and I cannot think of the artist at this moment. I've mentioned them in another video of mine. And I got that piece, started working on it, loved it, didn't know anything about kitting up, anything about how, like, good ways to try to keep things organized for myself as I was working, any of that. And I just went ahead and got through it and loved it and enjoyed it so much. I just did it working on the couch, actually, and kind of just putting my materials on the coffee table. And it was one of those things where I did mostly all of one color at a time. Like, rather than working on sections of the painting, I worked on mostly all the same color until it was done, and then I would work on the next color until it was done. So that is a way I think you can work on a really small painting or a relatively small painting, and you can have kind of limited headaches around how to manage diamonds and materials and things for yourself if you want to do it that way on a smaller painting. Now, I don't have small children around. I do have a fur baby, but she is generally uninterested in a lot of this kind of stuff. That may not work for you if you have small children. So that's what I did for the very first kit I ever did. It was just a relatively small kit, and it was easy enough to just do one color at a time and until it was done. And it only took like a week. So I do like a good turquoise, but I don't think I like it enough to keep this small amount of drills for any leftovers project. So those are the first two that I ever did. I never did finish that Amazon one because I knew that these Diamond Art Club kits, the quality was going to be so much better, and it's true they were. And so I just never went back to trying to deal with the other one that was such lower quality. So that was the very beginning of my journey. Just a little bit more eye candy for you before I throw these away. Just gorgeous. So many beautiful colors. Lovely. Okay, if you are not new to diamond art, or even if you are new, you are probably aware of the toolkits that you get in most every kit from Diamond Art Club and the things that come in them. One of the things that comes in them is a little package of Ziploc baggies. And these are perfect for my way of storing leftover drills. Now, usually what I do is I gather the drills that I want to keep in the color families that I love, and I try to store them more than one color in a bag. So, for example, I would say these 4 colors go pretty well all together. If I'm working on a leftovers project, I'm just going to want them to be similar, not completely the same. Now, this one could go somewhere else if I wanted to be more particular about it, but I think these will go together. These kind of darkish purple to the point that they're almost brown will go together. Then I may have one for light pinks, one for dark pinks, and then each of these Aurora Borealis or AB drills will probably go separate. So that's kind of how I tend to store my leftovers. Not everyone, actually, I think probably nobody else does it like this. I'm kind of a weirdo when it comes to this, but I just don't like clutter, and I'm a minimalist at heart, and I really am not convinced that I'm going to ever use these again, but I feel like there's a chance that I may use them. I belong to a couple of groups on Facebook where they share what they do with leftover drills, and I still kind of have fantasies that I may use these at some point in leftover drills project of some kind. I don't know what yet. It could be a purchased piece of wood from a place like Michael's that is meant for painting, but you can glue these on there instead in your own colors. Or it could be something that is completely not really meant for adding adornments to, like I've seen light switch plates for lights in your house done in pretty designs and things like that. So we'll see. I haven't decided. The jury is still out. So for that reason, I'm keeping these, a few, like some of them in the colors I love the most and the colors that would work best for me. And I'm going to keep them together. So this is going to be 4 different colors, and I'm going to take the labels off of these and put them on this bag just so I can know what the DMC colors are. The serial number on the left-hand side here is not that handy or useful for anything once that kit is done. So what I do is I just put all of these in a line on the little baggie to show me what colors are in here. Just in case it matters, I can know, right? And if you wanted to be a little more particular than me, you could put 208 and 209 together. You could do whatever you wanted, really. I think keeping 38, 37 out of here might be something somebody might want to do, but I am confident that whatever I work on, this grouping will be fine. So then I'm also going to do that with this group of almost brown purples. You may notice that it's pretty easy for me to get the edges of the stickers up off of here to start with, and that's because when I kit up, I generally don't press hard at all on this left-hand side when I push them down on the serial number side, for this exact reason, that they stay put perfectly throughout the project, and then when I am ready to remove them, they're easy to remove. So this is a gorgeous fuchsia that I'm going to keep, but these others I didn't really love enough, and they didn't really fit in any of these other, with any of these other pinks. So I'm gonna keep these two together. Oh, there's our AB green. I'm gonna keep these two together, and this one by itself. I really am just developing my own system, and I think y'all know I believe perfectionism is overrated, and in fact sometimes, you know, harmful more so than it helps anybody. So I tend to just sort of go with it and see what I think and just mess around, do some experiments, and then try to figure out from there what works best for me. But it took a while to develop a comfort level of being non-perfectionistic and being okay with imperfection and, you know, messy sometimes before I was able to do that. It was a long time in my work that I ended up being able to come to this comfort level of non-perfectionism. And right now it serves me pretty well as far as helping me like do stuff rather than not do stuff. Basically, that's my whole goal, is to do stuff and not be paralyzed and not do stuff just because it's not perfect and just because I don't know exactly how to do it yet. So I feel like the only way I can find new ways and try new things and find new things that I love and all of that, the only way I can do that is letting go of perfectionism. So that's what I have worked hard to do. I invite you, if you're uncomfortable with it, non-perfectionism, I invite you to give yourself some permission and just sort of see what some of it feels like sometimes. And then when it feels super uncomfortable because you think you're not good enough because you're so imperfect, try to push through that feeling and try to continue with the non-perfectionism and see what it can bring to you that is a positive thing and that works for you and that helps you try new things and find new things that you love or that are better than before, or any beneficial things that you wouldn't have found without letting go of the perfection that you were hoping to get. Because really, perfection is not really a goal that is attainable. I mean, I think some perfectionists think it is attainable and they pride themselves on being able to make things perfect. But I think that perfection is really meant for machines to be able to do and not humans. And so I think to deny your humanity is what you end up having to do if you strive for perfection. Whereas if you strive for excellence, you can get there and still be a human. So that's why I love the mindset of not making myself be perfect, because I feel like I can keep my humanity and still come up with some stuff that's pretty freaking excellent. I'd be dating myself if I talked about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure right now, so I won't do that. Look at those beautiful pinks. I love them. And look at these. I love them. I love them. Okay, and I love the purples too. All right, so then my last four are gonna be these beautiful ABs. 113, that is an AB, kind of a bright, light bright pink. A lavender, a Kelly green, and a white. There are not many of these green ABs, but I mean, they're just so gorgeous, it's hard for me to not keep them. Like, blue greens to me are just so pretty, and the fact that the base of these is green and then they have the blue shimmer on them, kind of metallic-y shimmer, I can't not keep them, even though there's like 10 of them. Usually these stickers are from Diamond Art Club and they stick fine and they don't stick too hard and all is well. I find that if I just get them off of there, then there's not usually residue, and if there is a little bit of residue, it'll come off if you just kind of use the oils from your fingers and just wipe them on there pretty hard back and forth, then that usually will take off any residual residue on them. And that's part of, those are little things that I'll know about the Oraloa kits after I get my first one done soon here coming up. I hope to finish it before October. The last one I did took a little bit less than a month. Usually I can get them done if I work really consistently, one section a day, every day, with maybe some multiple sections on weekend days. I can usually get the size that I like done within a month. And I just kind of like that rhythm of things. I like the payoff of getting something done within a month's time. I think if I had a bigger one and it was taking longer than a month, I think that's when I would get kind of unsatisfied, wishing that I could have something to show for my work, I guess, that is on the complete side of things. This is another one that I just think is so pretty with the different colors of the AB coating on there. Kind of shimmers a blue to a goldish to a green color, almost a little bit purple. I just think those are gorgeous. And the pink ones are too. I don't know what it is about the green and the white that sticks out to me even more. But those tend to be my fave. And the purple is beautiful too. But I think the green and the white from this batch are the ones that are my fave. Okay, so that is a kit that is ready to be used again for a kit up if I want. These are the last ones that I'm going to go throw away. So this is a new, fresh, empty Elizabeth Ward kit that is ready to be kitted up. The last thing I'll show you is just that I usually put these all together like this. And then I clip them together with like a binder clip, a small binder clip, like an office binder clip. I'll just clip them together like this and keep them like this. And I will put them in a Ziploc baggie that's a snack size Ziploc, and it'll be labeled with the kit that these came from, which was Cauldron of Myrrh. So then if I work on a leftovers project and I want a similar ethos to the Cauldron of Myrrh piece, then I'll know that I can come and find these colors in that Ziploc bag. Okay, as tends to happen in a non-perfectionist or anti-perfectionist lifestyle, you may not always be able to find the things that you need or want when you need them or want them. So I found, instead of the binder clip, I found an ollie clip that I use for many things around here. And I have just bound those with that for now. This is how I bag these up together. And then I'm going to label this snack size bag just to keep for if and when I want to use it in the future. Cauldron of Myrrh, Ivy Dollamore, and DAC. Okay, so those will go in here and those will go in my little stash. And that way I can know that if I'll see Cauldron of Myrrh on my wall after I get it dry mounted and mounted to the wall, and then I'll be able to know the vibe of that kit. And so that way, if there's ever a project for leftovers that I want to use and I kind of want to channel that vibe of that kit with the colors I loved most from it, then I'll know that's the bag that I want to look for initially. I'm not saying I would not ever use some things from this and some things from another kit, but I just think this is a good place to start, and I can know that these colors went together pretty well in that kit, and so that's an easy place to start for someone like me who is not being perfectionistic about any of it. These are the ones that I was able to get kitted up for the new kit. These are still a little bit staticky because you can tell some of them are sticking up here, and when you kind of roll them around, some of them jump away from others, and that's a sign of static too. So in order to not make the biggest mess ever, so the biggest size container is this one, so I'm gonna put these in there actually. And I can see how somebody might want a funnel for this. I just feel like one more thing to store for using for 5 minutes, you know, at a time in life, for me is not a good payoff, because I then have to figure out where I'm going to store it, how I'm going to store it, and all of that. And I just would rather avoid that if I can. So as of now, I'm soldiering on without any funnels. We'll see. I'm not saying that'll never change. That could change in the future, so stay tuned if you're curious about that. This is a little bit better than it was, but not much. So what I'm gonna do now is take some alcohol and a Q-tip. This is another proven method that I have seen people use that works pretty well. And just put a little bit, and I've used it before too. This method works for me when I do this. I kind of just wipe the walls of the container and sometimes the top I wipe that with the alcohol and then I give it a minute, a few seconds to dry. And I do the same thing for this bag and sort of paint the walls of the bag. And then I'll let it dry for just a few seconds and then I'll close it up. And they may be a little wet at first, but then when the alcohol dries, it does tend to help a little bit with the static remediation. And I don't know the science behind this. If you're a science teacher, I'd love to hear what you know about how this works. I feel like people say that static is something about moisture is related to when there's static, but I live in Central Texas and the humidity in my house is generally about 50% most of the time. So if it were just about getting moisture into the air around the drills, I don't think it would be quite this difficult. So I just feel like it has to be more than just moisture related. But I don't know what the science is of alcohol helping. But that sure seems to help. So far, at least a little bit, if not a lot, right? Like there's only these 2 random ones and that's a piece of trash. That's not even an actual drill. So presumably the mass of this thing is less than the mass of all these. So it worked on all of those pretty much. So then I will dump those into here. And almost never will they be in a snack size Ziploc bag. This was just the point where I had gotten as far as I could with the little mini Ziplocs that they had come in, and I could not take one more second of it. But this is the sticker that came with it. I'm gonna put it here like I normally would. I'm gonna press down on the right side of it harder than the left side, because then when I pick it up, it's okay if it destroys the serial number here. Okay, so those are staticky again, or sticky on the moisture in there. I don't know which. But I will, well, those went in pretty easily. So I will do the Q-tip. It's still pretty wet, so I'm gonna just wipe the edges again with that same Q-tip. And then I will shake it up and then we'll see if that helps with the static problem or not. Well, not so much yet, but if I let it dry more, it might. So we'll see. Because sometimes when I shake it right away, it's not good. But then when I let it dry, then they calm down and they're better. So we'll see. We'll let that one dry for just a minute. Okay, so relatively unsure as to which of these baggies need the bigger sized container, and which ones are already going to be small enough quantities to move to the smaller container. So I am going to use my scales that I use for mailing, and I used to use in the kitchen back in the day before the GLP-1 shots happened. And I'm just going to see which ones tend to be the heaviest and how heavy they are, and that will give me a relatively good kind of guidance for which ones need to go into the bigger containers. So I'm gonna set it to grams, and I'm kind of gonna sort these by weight. So that these are both 9 grams, that one's 8 grams, that one's 8 grams, that one's 8, this one is 9, that one's 8, and this one is 8. Okay, so I was pretty right on. I thought that those were gonna be the ones that need the kind of medium-sized container. These are all gonna be less than 8 for sure. This is 4, that's 4. I think with 4 grams or less, we're looking at the smallest size container in that. Okay, so mostly that's what we're looking at there. Let's see if there's any more that are 8 or 9 grams. That one is 9. This one looks like 7. 6. That would be a good drinking game, right? If you guess it right, then you don't have to take a drink. 9. Also 9. Okay, if I had to bet money on it, I would bet that everything left is less than 7 grams per baggie. So that means that once I get all of the 9 and 8 gram containers into a medium size container, the rest can all go into one of the smaller ones. I feel confident about that. Ooh, look at that pretty AB. I don't know if Orloa, I guess Orloa probably calls him something different, but that's pretty, huh? Okay, so these are 8s and those are 9s. So what I have going on here is I have kind of the biggest container other than this guy. So this is the very biggest one of all. They're all pretty much hanging together now that I let that alcohol dry. So that looks pretty, I'm pretty pleased with that. So now what I'm gonna do is take one of the 9 gram bags, put it in, it looks like it'll fit. So I'm gonna put it in here. If it fits, then I know I don't need any more of this size. And the 9 gram ones will all go in something like this, and I'll pull those out from the other set that I have. So I'm going to put this here as like a little catch-all tray for mess, which I am prone to make. And then I'm gonna put this, the sticker page is here. I had it flattening out. So this bag is number 154 and it is right here. It's listed as, the symbol is number 1. If it works in this container, then that sticker is gonna go on this container. But I wanna make sure it fits in here first before I put the sticker on it. So the stickers will be standing by. There's some static still. There's still tons of static in here even with the freezer tricks. So I think what's going to happen in my life today is I'm gonna go and I'm gonna paint the little alcohol in all of these bags and give them a few minutes to kind of dry and settle. And then I will later, probably tomorrow, if I'm being honest, come back and do more. So I'm going to take my little Q-tip. I am going to put some of this on here to make the Q-tip wet. And then I'm going to just run it on the walls of the baggie. For that baggie, I'm gonna leave it sitting upright. This one, I think I'm gonna let them dry just a little because when it's still wet, it doesn't help. They all just stick to the bag. And if y'all have experience that, that you feel like is your go-to for staticky drills, feel free to let me know. I think this experience has been enough to make me feel like, I don't know, I may stick with Diamond Art Club just because I feel like whatever they've got, I don't know if it's because their warehouse is in Texas and I'm in Texas. And so their, drills have been sitting in that warehouse long enough that they've been acclimated to the climate and conditions and pressure and whatever, air pressure and whatever else is going on here, or if they have other systems. Anyway, I don't know if that's what it's about or if it's about something else, but every Diamond Art Club kit that I've used so far has not had this issue. So I don't know if it's because of the supply chain and how long it takes to get here, or if there is some other variable that is, involved in how staticky these drills are. I do know that this is a really, really, really staticky kit and I don't like it. I don't like dealing with the static, but I'll still try a few others. I have my eye on a few other independent shops and I will still try them, but this is not the fun part of diamond painting for me. Like the fun part is getting it kitting up and then getting going on it. And this has been a lot of time and energy that I would rather be diamond painting. Maybe I'll Google it and maybe I don't know. We'll see if I have the energy and time to Google it or not. I've heard that cutting holes in the bags might help. A tiny little hole that's smaller than the resin drill piece. Like poking a hole in it with a seam ripper or something. I mean, I might try that if that's a solution that helps. Okay, so that is where I am now, and I will keep you posted on how this goes and if it helps, and if so, how much it helps, what I recommend based on my experience. Okay, y'all, it's gonna get real up in here. I have had quite a frustrating several hours trying to get this kitted up, and I have decided I am not doing it. I'm not doing this kit. So I wanted to just throw everything away, like everything that I've already done. I wanted to just throw all the beads away, but I've decided I'm gonna be reasonable and basically put it back best as I can into at least the bags that the drills came in. And then I will be able to give it away to somebody in a Facebook group maybe who wants to go ahead and do it. About 10 years ago in my life, I gave myself permission to abandon any books that I was reading. If I didn't like them by page like 80 or 100, then I told myself, you know what? There's no reason to slog through all of this. If the whole point of reading novels before bed is enjoyment and relaxation, and if they cause you the opposite of that, enjoyment and relaxation, then that's probably not a good use of your time. So why would I spend one more minute of my time on this earth that is limited and precious reading a book that I am not enjoying reading, or working on a diamond painting that I am not enjoying working on? So I did not even get past the kitting up point on this kit. And I mean, I like the image, but do I love it enough that I can't imagine not doing it? Nope. I do not love it that much. So I am going to try to be a good steward of the fortune that I have in life, which is not a lot, but it's enough to be able to buy a kit like this and in the hopes of completing it. And I am going to give it to somebody who can use it, but it's not going to be me. And everyone has different values in life, I guess, and I value peace and happiness and love and joy and all of those things, which I'm sure most people value those things. But I am not going to do something and slog through it when I'm unhappy doing it the whole time, if the point of the activity is enjoyment. Now, have I had adversity in my life? Yes, I've had a lot of adversity in my life for the sake usually of food, shelter, clothing, getting a job, doing work and that kind of thing. I've had adversity there, and I've gone through it, and I have survived it. And I have not quit those things when I run into adversity. But my pursuits of happiness and enjoyment and pleasure in life do not usually come at the price of adversity. So if you are someone who values suffering through adversity and getting through it no matter what and all of that, I love that for you, and I appreciate that about you, and I celebrate that value that you have for yourself. Also, I do not share it. So I am going to free myself. I was going to sleep on it and wait till tomorrow to do this, but I've been sick for about 8 days now, and I just don't have a lot of extra time. So I'm going to go ahead, in the interest of moving to a kit that I really, really, really want to do and am looking forward to doing. I'm going to go ahead and put this as much back together as I can right now for somebody so I can offer it in one of my Facebook D-Stash groups for just the price of shipping, I guess. So that's where I am. And I just wanted to come talk to you about the value of pivoting in your life. I don't know if it's the Americans in us or what, but I know many of us in our society, current society, there's like a stigma against quitting something, quote unquote, quitting things. And I think what I've determined in my life as a person over 50, like I said, about 10 or 15 years ago, I decided like it's not worth spending 1 minute longer on something you don't love than you absolutely have to. So that's what's right for me. So I wanted to give you that perspective in case you're someone who tends to struggle with a pivot in life. I wanted to say this is me. Not that you need permission from anyone, but this is me making it okay for you to let go of things that do not serve you. There are many things in our lives that do not serve us, and we stick with them for the sake of some sort of mythical respect and adoration from someone, I don't know, others, some sort of generic, mythical being in the sky that, has some sort of say over how good we are or how moral we are or how right we are about things. And I just think all of that is not serving us. And I don't stick with things that do not serve me. So that's what I have to say about that. This is perhaps your sign to let something go. What I feel is that this was a project that I started months ago in the hopes of having it completed by now. And I, struggled again a little bit today to try to get through it, or to a point where I could get through it. And I am not feeling it. I'm not valuing continuing with the project. So this is me pivoting, and it's me telling you that it's okay to let go of things that do not serve you. It does not make you a quitter. And if it does make me a quitter, then I'm okay with that. I think it makes me a person who values the time I have on this earth, which is limited and not nearly as much as I'd like. And so I'm going to use that in a way that feels like it serves me best. And right now, that means I'm going to spend some time kitting down this kit that I never finished kitting up and getting it ready to pass on to somebody else who will love it and enjoy it and want to go through whatever adversity it takes to get it done for themselves. That's what I'm going to do right now. And I hope that you find within you the answers for what is best for you, regardless of what you first thought or may have thought previously. I also want to recommend, along those lines, I want to recommend a book called Finding Your Own North Star by Martha Beck. It is a book, I have nothing to do, she has no idea who I am. I have nothing to do with her, but I read this book a long time ago, and it was very enlightening and illuminating and soul-filling for me, and I think it could be for you as well if you are someone who wants to find your own North Star and wants to find what's best for you in life, in spite of what people around you or society or other entities may make you think. It is okay to figure yourself out for yourself, and it's okay if other people either don't understand it or don't agree with it or don't like it. It's totally fine. you will survive and you'll probably thrive if you can really start to develop listening to that inner voice and doing what's best for you, even in the face of other people making you doubt yourself. So that's my message for today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. And I will see you next time. Who knows what that will bring. Bye.